Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Allahumma salli wa sallim ala habibina al-Mustafa Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. My dear brothers and sisters, today we have a very, very beautiful topic, that is Taqdeer Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This topic, subhanallah, is most controversial among certain people, Taqdeer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for us to think why it is controversial for certain people, it is controversial for certain people because they don't want to transform to become a good man. They wanted to blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I become a bad man because that what Allah decided for me. That is wrong, my dear brothers and sisters. There is no such thing in Islam, Deenul Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala al-adil, He is the justice, and He will never break the promise. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created all and everything. Out of His creation, we human beings are very, very unique. We are given two important areas, subhanallah, al-aql, intellectual power, and also freedom of choice. And these two things actually in the hands of human being. They can utilize the brain according to their understanding. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed Al-Quran Al-Kareem, the prophetic knowledge, ilmun nabuwa. So ilmun nabuwa become a good guideline for the human being to utilize their intellectual power. There are areas human mind cannot understand. There are areas human intellectual cannot understand. So Al-Quran will guide them to understand that area. That is one different area altogether. Inshallah, one day we talk about that. And the other area is freedom of choice. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted His servants al-ikhtiyar. They can choose what they prefer. They can choose. If they wanted to become a highly qualified man, highly educated man, they are granted the opportunity, they are granted the facility to study, and to get more knowledge in Islam or in any other area of their wish. Subhanallah. So, freedom of choice is actually a very, very unique ni'mah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my dear brothers and sisters. There are other makhluk, they are not given these two things. Subhanallah. Angels, they are not given freedom of choice. They are just commanded to perform something and they have to fulfill that assignment. These two things, intellectual wisdom and also freedom of choice, is given especially for the mankind. So we use the knowledge and do the righteous deed. We use the knowledge and keep away from the wrong thing. This is freedom of choice. If a man, he wanted to do good things, insha'Allah, he can do it. If a man wanted to do bad things, insha'Allah, na'udhu billah, he can do that. So the freedom of choice is already open in front of him. Then how he can blame Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I become bad man because Allah created me to be a bad man. No, that is wrong. That is the beauty of Shahr Ramadan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted us Shahr Ramadan for us to be trained how to transform to become a pious man. By sacrificing many things, we are not eating for the sake of Allah. We are not drinking for the sake of Allah. We are not performing sex because for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put condition. So this entire Ramadan month is a conditional days and nights, subhanallah. So in these conditional days and nights, we try to utilize our freedom of choice as much as possible. Do not blame Taqdeer Allah. Do not blame Taqdeer Allah. Do not blame Taqdeer Allah. If Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decree a matter, this is the qadr of Allah. If Allah decree a matter, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promised to his noble servants, you beg to me, I will change the taqdeer which I prescribed on you. Subhanallah. Everything is provided for us and we just hard work for it. So hard work always takes place with sacrifice. That is the reason, one more reason why Allah prescribed Ramadan. Ramadan is a month of sacrifice. So we sacrifice to transform ourselves and to become a pious man. When we become a pious man, we are able to recognize Allah, we are able to understand Allah, we are able to know about Allah's authority. Because Allah's knowledge is infinite. Allah knows everything, my dear brothers and sisters. That is the reason He said that I decree matter for you. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's knowledge is beyond the time. Beyond the time. So in that area of knowledge, there is no past, present and future. Everything is beyond our imagination, my dear brothers and sisters. That is the reason we are the people, we believe in Taqdeer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We believe that Allah, out of Allah's knowledge, He prescribed, out of Allah's knowledge, He decree, out of Allah's knowledge, He decide. But at the same time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted us very beautiful guideline to do that and not to do this thing. And also to hard work to achieve something. When we hard work with dua, inshallah, Allah will fulfill our intention, inshallah. This is the beauty of Taqdeer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, my dear brothers and sisters. So please let us take into consideration Ramadan is a month of training whereby we are training ourselves how to be happy with Taqdeer of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how to be utilized our given energy and given power, given knowledge to achieve something through our hard work. Wabillahi tawfiq wal hidayah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.